A week before New Year's Eve, I overheard my family calmly assigning me the role of unpaid babysitter for 9 kids. On New Year's Eve itself, my mom called me in full panic. "Holly, where are you? The guests are already at the table, and the food was supposed to be here an hour ago." I just laughed and said, "Don't wait for me, or for the $1,700 catering." Then I hung up. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me rewind. My name is Holly Reed. I'm 27, a data analyst at a big American insurance company, the sort that has ads plastered on every bus and billboard in New York City. Salary's decent. Enough for a rented 1-bedroom in Jersey City, a subway pass, and the occasional online shopping regret. By New York standards, I'm doing okay. Independent, no roommates, no husband, no kids. Just me, my spreadsheets, and a plant that refuses to die. My parents live on Staten Island, about 30 to 40 minutes away if there's no traffic and the universe is feeling generous. They're good people mostly, but they sometimes act like I'm still 15, not pushing 30. I go over regularly. Family is sacred, blah, blah, blah. Except those visits stopped feeling like rest a long time ago. I've got an older sister, Amber. She's 33. She's been married to Mark for about 10 years. Picture the standard suburban starter pack. Small house, shared Facebook account energy, and 2 kids. My nephew Mason, he's 8, and niece Sadie, 6, total daddy's princess. From the outside, they're a happy textbook family. From my side, there's one tiny screaming detail. Every single Saturday. At exactly 9 a.m., Amber materializes at my door with both kids like clockwork. "Hey, Holly, we're just dropping them off for a bit. You're a lifesaver. We need some family time. Brunch, errands, you know how it is. We'll pick them up in a couple hours." Spoiler, a couple hours means 9 or 10 p.m., if I'm lucky. Sometimes they might as well sleep over. They're already in pajamas. I like kids. I love these kids. But a 12-hour shift every Saturday? For free? In my own apartment? While their parents have dates, see friends, go shopping like actual adults? At some point, I realized my weekends had turned into a free daycare franchise with exactly one exhausted employee. Me. One evening, after collapsing on the couch under a pile of Legos and crusts from "We're not hungry, actually we are," I finally picked up the phone. "Amber, listen," I started carefully. "Every Saturday is a bit much. Maybe we can do, I don't know, twice a month? Or at least not every weekend?" Silence on the line. The offended sister kind. "Holly, are you serious right now?" she said. "We're working ourselves to death. Mark and I barely see each other. And what exactly are you doing on Saturdays? You don't have a husband or kids. Why is it so hard to help your own family?" I might also want to go on dates, or see friends, or just sleep after a week of reports, I said. "Come on, that's nonsense," she snapped. "Mason and Sadie adore you. You're like a second mom to them. This is the best practice you can get. It'll be easier with your own someday." "You have no life we recognize as real. Therefore, your time is available." I hung up, feeling like I'd just asked for something outrageous, like charging rent for the air in my apartment. So I tried another way. A week later, at our traditional Sunday dinner at my parents' place, soup, meatloaf, salad, the usual, I decided to raise the topic with Mom and Dad present. Safety in numbers, I thought. I miscalculated whose side the numbers were on. "Mom, Dad," I started, "can we talk about Mason and Sadie? I love them, I really do, but having them every single Saturday is a lot." Maybe we can work out a schedule so I could occasionally have a weekend too? Dad didn't even look up from his plate, just grunted, "Holly, this is family. Family helps." Mom put her spoon down and gave me that look. The one that says I did not raise a monster, but here you are trying to prove me wrong. "Sweetheart, this is not how I brought you up," she said. "Amber works. She and Mark need time together. You're on your own, no kids, no husband. Of course you can help. Besides, this is the best training there is. With your own children, it'll be easier." "Mom, what if I want to go on a date on Saturday, or meet friends, or just, I don't know, exist?" Amber cut in before Mom could answer. "Then schedule your dates for Friday or Sunday," she said. "And your friends can always come over and meet the kids. Win-win. It's really simple, Holly." Dad nodded. "Your sister's right. Family is sacred. You don't turn your back on them." I almost exploded. I wanted to stand up and scream that they weren't treating me like adult family, more like staff on call. Instead, I forced a smile and mumbled that I understood. I didn't. What I did understand was this. I was starting to quietly hate them. My parents. For not even trying to listen. Amber. For being so shamelessly entitled. And I was even catching myself resenting my niece and nephew, which made me feel horrible on top of everything else. Then, about 3 weeks before New Year's, I was in my office in Midtown Manhattan, finishing a quarterly report, when my mom called. "Holly, honey, hi! I'm calling about New Year's," she chirped. "Here we go. This year we're having a full house. Aunt Lydia is coming with her 3 kids, Uncle Jim and Susan with their 2, plus Mark's parents and his brother's family. That's another 4 kids. Quick math in my head. Amber's 2, Lydia's 3, Jim and Susan's 2, Mark's brother's 2 equals 9 children total. Sounds big, I said. "What do you want me to bring?" "Well, that's the thing, sweetheart. I can't cook for that many on my own," Mom sighed. "Maybe you could order catering, so it's all beautiful and tasty and enough for everyone." My heart did a little financial facepalm. Catering for around 25 people in New York is not pocket change. "How many people exactly?" I asked. "About 25, she said. "I know it's a lot, but you're our success story. You're doing so well. The others are struggling with money right now. We'll pay you back later." I wanted to say, "How is that my problem?" I wanted to remind her that a decent salary does not automatically come with a feed the entire extended family clause, but there was so much hope in her voice. "Okay, Mom," I said eventually. "I'll take care of the catering." "Oh, thank you, Goldmine. You're the best. I'll text you a list of what everyone likes," she said, practically purring. When I hung up, I leaned back in my chair, roughly $1,700 for a New Year's feast I hadn't planned. But hey, it's only once a year, it's family, it's a holiday. I sold myself the usual fairy tale. I ordered from Gourmet and Co-Catering, a New York service named after its foodie founder. I put down about $1,000 as a deposit and tried not to think too hard about the final bill. Work distracted me. I even started looking forward to this big family New Year's. A week before New Year's, my phone rang again. "Hello, this is Lisa from Gourmet and Company," a polite voice said. "I'm calling about your order for the 31st. "Hi, Lisa. Did something happen?" "Unfortunately, our pork supplier backed out. All the roast pork went to corporate parties, but we can replace it with roasted chicken with potatoes and mushrooms, same price. Would that work for you?" Annoying, but not fatal. "Let me check with my family and call you back," I said. "Of course. It'd be great if you could decide today or tomorrow. It's the last week before New Year's. You understand. I hung up and immediately tried to call Mom. Subscriber unavailable. Dad. Same thing. Amber's phone was straight up off, like they'd all agreed to vanish simultaneously. After work, I decided to just swing by their house. Someone had to be home. At 6:30 p.m., I opened my parents' front door with my own key. Warm air, smell of Mom's signature roast. I was about to yell, "Mom, you home?" when I heard her voice from the living room. She was on the phone, talking loudly like she always does when she's stressed. And then I heard my name. "Oh, Lydia, don't worry," she laughed. "Holly will do great with the kids. No need to hire entertainers at all." I froze in the hallway. Do what with the kids? "We'll set up the spare room as the kids' room," Mom continued. "We'll turn on some cartoons, put out board games, and Holly will stay in there with them. All 9. I know it's a lot, but she can handle it." My ears started ringing. I know, Mom went on, chuckling. "It's perfect. She already has experience with Mason and Sadie, and she doesn't have kids of her own, so she's not as exhausted as we are. Plus, she's the youngest. Energy to spare. Someone has to watch the kids while we ring in the new year, right? And Holly's single anyway. She'd just be bored at the table." I felt sick. They planned this whole thing behind my back and didn't even consider mentioning it to me. "Holly doesn't have kids," Mom said lightly, "so it's no big deal for her. Really, bring all of yours." I pressed myself against the wall, too stunned to walk in, too furious to walk out. After a minute, she wrapped up the call. I finally stepped into the living room. "Oh, Holly!" Mom jumped. "When did you get here?" "Just now," I lied. "I was just talking to your Aunt Lydia," she said quickly. "So, was that the catering company calling you earlier?" "Yeah. Gourmet & Co. had an issue with the pork. They're offering chicken with potatoes and mushrooms instead. Will that work?" "Oh, perfect," Mom said, relieved. "Roast chicken is great for New Year's. You decide, honey. I trust you." I turned around and left before I said something I couldn't walk back from. In the car, my hands were shaking on the steering wheel. They'd decided that I would pay for the food, spend the entire evening shut in a room with 9 kids, skip the actual New Year's dinner. They had turned me into a live-in maid, and I was supposed to finance the party. They hadn't even bothered to ask. At home, I paced my apartment like a caged thing, back and forth, each lap adding fuel to the fire. This wasn't just about New Year's. This was about how they had always treated me, not as an adult with her own life, but as a convenient, well-paid babysitter with no right to say no. I remembered every Saturday Amber dumped the kids on me, how my parents took her side every time, how they made me feel guilty for wanting any time to myself. And now this New Year's ambush. Enough. I grabbed my phone and called Gourmet & Company. "Hi, this is Holly Reed. I have a big order for the 31st. "Yes, Ms. Reed. Have you decided about the replacement?" "I need to cancel the entire order," I said. There was a long pause. "Cancel everything? But there's only a week left before New Year's." "Yes," I said. "Please cancel." "We can do that," she said slowly. "But there will be a fee. From your $1,000 deposit, we'll have to withhold a penalty. You'll get about $800 back." "That's fine. Cancel it," I said. "Understood. The refund will be processed within 3 to 5 business days." When I hung up, I felt a weird mix of relief and panic. I'd just canceled a New Year's feast for 25 people, and my family had no idea. That evening, Slumped on my couch scrolling my phone, I suddenly remembered a call from about 3 months earlier. My old college roommate, Hannah, had moved to Aspen, Colorado after graduation. She works in IT now and constantly posts pictures of mountains and snow on Instagram. "Holly, come spend New Year's with us," she'd told me back in September. "My parents rented this amazing cabin near the slopes. We'll snowboard, drink mulled wine. Just relax. It'll be awesome." Back then, I'd refused without thinking. "Thanks, Hannah, but I always spend New Year's with my family." Sitting there alone in my apartment, having just found out my family's big plan to use me as a live-in entertainer for 9 kids, I realized maybe the universe had given me a second chance. I pulled up Hannah's number. My hands were still shaking from anger, but my resolve was rock solid. "Holly, wow, surprise," she said when she picked up. "What's up?" "Hey, so, remember your New Year's invite?" I asked. "Is that still on the table?" "You serious?" "Very." "Of course, come. We're heading up to the cabin on the 29th. Can you make it?" "I'll make it." I bought a ticket to Denver, put in a last-minute vacation request at work, and for the first time in my life chose me over, but it's family. On December 29th, I flew to Denver. Hannah met me at the airport, yelling my name and nearly tackling me in the arrivals hall. We drove up to Aspen, where her parents, Michael and Carla, greeted me like I'd always belonged there. The next morning, we all piled into the car and headed to their rented cabin in the mountains. Cozy wooden house, snow outside, kitchen full of food I hadn't paid for, people who were actually happy I was there. Not because I could watch their kids, but because they liked my company. It felt unreal. For 3 days we snowboarded, played board games, cooked together, watched movies, listened to stories from Hannah's parents, and laughed until our sides hurt. I felt like part of a real family celebration, not the hired help. On the afternoon of December 31st, my phone finally rang with the call I'd been expecting. "Holly, where are you?" Mom's voice was sharp and frantic. "The guests are already at the table, and the food should have arrived an hour ago." I took a deep breath. "I'm not coming, Mom." "What do you mean you're not coming? Don't be ridiculous. Get over here now." "I heard you talking to Aunt Lydia last week," I said. "I know all about your plan. Lock me in a room with 9 kids while you all celebrate at the table I paid for." Silence. Then Mom's voice switched to defensive mode. "I don't know what you think you heard, but you're exaggerating." "I heard exactly what I heard," I said. "You were laughing about how you could dump all the kids on me because I don't have children of my own. If you don't come right now, we'll just bring everyone over to your place with all the kids," she snapped. "Good luck with that, Mom," I said. "I'm not in New York. I'm on vacation." In the background, I heard voices, Amber and the others asking what was going on. Then Amber grabbed the phone. "Holly, what the hell? We were all counting on relaxing while you watched the kids," she hissed. "Have you completely lost it?" "I'm tired of being your unpaid nanny," I said, "especially when you plot behind my back. Oh, and by the way, don't wait on the food. I canceled the catering." I turned off my phone. Hannah stared at me, eyes wide. "Damn, you okay?" I looked around, at the warm cabin, at the people who'd welcomed me like one of their own, at the snowy mountains outside. "You know what?" I said. "I'm better than I've been in years." We spent New Year's Eve snowboarding, eating, joking, toasting, and just being together. No one expected me to babysit. No one expected me to set the table or wash the dishes just because I have more time. No one treated me like free domestic labor. For the first time in a long time, I had the most amazing New Year's of my life. On January 2nd, I finally turned my phone back on. The notification counter almost passed out from the effort. Dozens of missed calls, 15 from Mom, 12 from Dad, 8 from Amber, 5 from Mark, plus a bunch from assorted relatives. And that was just the calls. Then I opened WhatsApp. Mom, first. Call me back immediately. Where are you? This is unacceptable. Then it escalated. You're a cruel, selfish girl. You ruined New Year's for everyone. Because of you, the whole celebration was ruined. There was no food. Amber went even harder. I cannot believe you did this to us. At the last minute, we had to run to the Walmart down the street and grab whatever frozen junk we could find. We were humiliated in front of everyone. Mark chimed in too. Amber's been crying because of your stunt. The kids are asking why there was no festive table. But Dad's message was the one that really stuck. We spent New Year's in a nightmare, with no proper dinner. The kids ran around screaming. The house was upside down. This is all your fault. I read all of this sitting in a beautiful cabin, surrounded by people who genuinely enjoyed having me there, and found myself laughing instead of feeling guilty. Their genius plan had crashed and burned. They'd spent New Year's chasing 9 screaming children around a house with no food and no plan. Exactly what they'd wanted to dump on me had become their own personal hell. After the holidays, I stayed with Hannah's family for 3 more days. On January 5th, I flew home feeling more rested and calm than I had in years. On the way back, my phone vibrated periodically, but I ignored it. I knew my family was trying to bully me into apologizing. I wasn't ready for that conversation. The conversation came to my door instead. The next morning, January 6th, I was making coffee when someone started pounding on my door. Aggressive, insistent knocks. I checked the peephole. Of course. Mom. Dad. Amber. All 3 with faces twisted in anger. I took a deep breath and opened the door. Don't even bother with hello, Mom snapped, shoving past me into the apartment. Come on, Dad, she barked over her shoulder. We need to talk. Dad used the same stern tone he'd used when scolding me as a teenager. Yes, we absolutely do. Fine, I said. Let's talk. Mom spun around to face me. How could you do this to us, Holly? She demanded. We had 25 people show up expecting a holiday feast, and there was nothing. Nothing. Dad added. The guests kept asking where the food was. We had to lie and say the catering company messed up. We looked like idiots. Amber stepped closer. Mark's parents and his brother's family now think we're completely disorganized. His mom kept asking why we didn't have a backup plan. Mom threw up her hands. And the kids, all 9 of them were running around screaming, destroying everything. It was a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. I had to bite my lip to keep from smiling. Wow, I said. Sounds awful. Taking care of a bunch of kids during a family holiday. I can only imagine how exhausting that must have been. Don't get smart with us, Dad snapped. You know exactly what you did. I do, I said calmly. I decided I was done being your free nanny and the sponsor of your New Year's dinner. You're our daughter, Mom cried, eyes filling with tears. You're supposed to help your family. Help? Sure, I said. But what you wanted wasn't help. You didn't ask. You just assigned me to watch 9 kids all night in a separate room at a party I paid for. Because, in your words, I don't have kids and I'm young and energetic. You never even considered that I might want to celebrate too. Dad pointed at the door. Let's go, he said to the others. She's made her choice. At the door, Mom turned back. Don't come running to us crying when you realize what you've lost, she said. I won't, I answered, and I meant it. After they left, I sat on the couch in complete silence for about 10 minutes. Then I picked up my phone and added all their numbers to my block list. Over the next few days, other relatives tried their luck. Aunt Lydia called to say I was ungrateful. Uncle Jim said I was breaking my mother's heart. A cousin said I had to apologize because you only get one mom. I hung up every time. It's been 2 months since that New Year's. I haven't spoken to my parents or Amber since the day they came to my apartment. I know from other relatives, the ones I still talk to, that my parents want to reconcile, but don't know how. When family members try to pressure me into making the first move, I say the same thing. I'll talk to them when they honestly admit that for years they used me as free childcare, often saw me more as a wallet than a person, and never treated me as an equal. Until they're ready for that conversation, there's nothing to discuss. So far, no one's ready. But you know what? I'm happier than I've been in years. My Saturdays are mine now. I can sleep in, go to the spa, hit a bar with friends, or just stay home and rest without waiting for a doorbell at 9 a.m. I started seeing someone, and it is very nice not having to coordinate dates around when my sister feels like dropping off her kids. I don't feel guilty. I finally understood that family is not supposed to mean you owe us everything by default. Real help has to be voluntary, not demanded like a right. So tell me, did I go too far canceling the catering and disappearing to the mountains, or did I finally go just far enough? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.